You've got 3 balances, 5 APRs, and a timeline that feels endless. The internet offers 2 famous plans, Debt Avalanche and Debt Snowball. One attacks the highest interest first, the other knocks out the smallest balance first for quick wins. Both can work, they just optimize for different things. Interest dollars versus psychological momentum. Today, how each method works, illustrative side-by-side math, the minimum payment trap, and a simple hybrid so you stop arguing online and start a plan you'll keep. Education only. Your debts and rates are unique. We'll use plain English and illustrative numbers only. Your APRs and minimums win over any screenshot on the internet. Quick note, this is general education, not financial advice. APRs, fees, and collection rules vary. I'll point you to ConsumerFinance.gov, and for your situation, check a qualified professional or a nonprofit credit counselor. Step 0 for either method. Make a complete list. For each debt, write the balance, APR or interest rate, minimum payment, and due date. Include cards, personal loans, and store financing. Student loans can sit on the same list, but federal loans sometimes have separate repayment rules. Treat those carefully. You cannot optimize what you refuse to look at. One honest spreadsheet beats 3 motivational quotes. If a balance has a promotional rate with an end date, put that date in bold on the list. Cliffs change the ranking. Avalanche method. Pay the minimum on every debt, then throw every extra dollar at the balance with the highest APR. When that one is gone, roll the payment to the next highest APR. The logic is pure interest math. High rates grow balances faster, so killing them first usually minimizes total interest paid over time. It can feel slower at first if your highest APR debt is also a large balance. Think of Avalanche like putting out the fire that spreads fastest. High APR is the accelerant. Snowball method. Pay minimums everywhere, then put every extra dollar on the smallest balance first, regardless of APR. When that balance hits 0, roll that payment into the next smallest. The logic is behavioral. Quick wins build adherence. You may pay more interest than Avalanche if a high APR debt sits around longer, but people who quit a perfect plan lose to people who finish an imperfect one. Snowball is closer to clearing mental tabs in your browser. Fewer open loops can free attention to keep going. Side by side. Avalanche usually wins on total interest if you stick with it. Snowball usually wins on early dopamine and account count dropping. Neither works if extra is imaginary. You need a real surplus after essentials and minimums. And neither is magic if you're still adding new debt on the same cards. Stop the bleed first, then pick the attack order. If your surplus is tiny, either method still works. The win is consistency, not picking the cooler name. A simple monthly loop for either method. 1. Pay every minimum on time so you don't stack late fees or wreck credit. 2. Send the surplus to the chosen target. 3. When a balance dies, roll its entire payment, minimum plus surplus, to the next target. That roll-up is the engine. If you celebrate a win by shrinking the total payment amount, you slow the whole machine. Auto-pay the minimums from checking and schedule the surplus transfer the day after payday so it isn't optional mood money. But here's the mistake that quietly costs people. Picking Avalanche or Snowball and then skipping minimums on the non-target debts to speed up the favorite. That can trigger fees, penalty APRs, and credit damage that wipe out the clever ranking. The method only ranks where the extra goes. Minimums are not optional homework. If you can't cover minimums, pause the method debate and look at income, expenses, or nonprofit counseling. Ranking surplus you don't have is theater. In about a minute, I'll give you the debt payoff cheat sheet to screenshot. Avalanche, Snowball, and the hybrid rule in one place. But first, the interest comparison people argue about. Illustrative only. Suppose 2 debts, $2,000 at 24% APR and $500 at 12%. And you have $150 a month beyond minimums. Avalanche points the surplus at the 24% balance first. Snowball points it at the $500 first. Avalanche typically clears less total interest because the expensive balance dies sooner. Snowball typically clears the small balance faster, so you see a win. Exact dollars depend on minimums and fees. Run your own numbers. Don't screenshot a stranger's spreadsheet as destiny. Plug your real balances into a payoff calculator from a trusted consumer site if you want dollar estimates. Treat viral "I saved 10,000" posts as entertainment until verified. Also compare the quiet costs. If a promotional 0% balance is about to expire and jump to a high APR, that deadline can outrank a pure snowball sort. If a debt has a massive fee for falling behind, protecting that minimum matters more than aesthetics. Ranking is a tool. Read the fine print on each line before you marry a slogan. Collections, charged-off accounts, and lawsuits are outside cute method labels. Get specific help if you're there. Now, the one thing nobody tells you, the mathematically best plan you abandon in month 3 loses to the good enough plan you automate. If Avalanche makes you miserable because the big, high APR balance never seems to move, a snowball or hybrid that keeps you paying is the adult answer. Interest math matters, behavior math matters too. Pick the constraint you actually have. Couples should agree on the rule in writing. Silent renegotiation every payday is how plans die. A practical hybrid many people use. Snowball one tiny balance for a quick win if you need momentum, then switch the surplus permanently to highest APR, Avalanche from there. Or Avalanche everything except one stressful small bill you want gone for mental health. Write the rule down so you don't renegotiate with yourself every payday. Automation beats willpower. Schedule the minimums, schedule the surplus transfer. Celebrate wins without adding new consumer debt on the same cards. That's how people finish a snowball and restart the mountain. Screenshot this debt payoff cheat sheet. 1. List every balance, APR, and minimum. 2. Never skip minimums to "speed up" a method. 3. Avalanche equals highest APR first, usually less interest. 4. Snowball equals smallest balance first, usually more momentum. 5. Hybrid is allowed if it keeps you consistent. Free download below, plus the adulting starter kit. If this ended the Snowball versus Avalanche comment war in your head, subscribe to the adulting guide. Next up in the car money lane, lease versus buy. The math dealers skip. Comment which method you're running right now. If you're choosing a method today, comment Avalanche, Snowball, or Hybrid. Then watch the lease versus buy video before your next car decision.